Welcome to Shortview Trading. It's your morning market hit for Monday, 19th of October. What matters today and this week for traders? Well, as always, the market narrative tends to follow the price movement. People explain the price move after the event. And overnight in Asian trading, Monday's Asian trading, we've seen some strong S&P futures and some strong indices in general. And that's been explained away as to do with the vaccine, renewed hope on the vaccine and more stimulus expectations. But in reality, this is probably nothing more than a counter-trend rally. You'll remember last week, Tuesday through to Friday, the market was pretty weak. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, strong down days. Friday largely flat, and so we're getting a little bit of bounce against that counter-trend rally. What's key, I think, is looking at one's fear and greed models, and at the early last week models were really pretty greedy. You saw that with a short-term risk appetite scoring system, you saw it with a technical scoring system, you saw it with a whole bunch of models. Hot money had flowed largely into the equity indices with quite a big swing from the end of September through to early last week, from very negative end of September on the hot money flows to very positive as of early last week. So models were very toppy, the market was very greedy. We began a counter trend, we began a 1 to 2 week move lower, and I think overnight we've just had a counter trend rally within that 1 to 2 week downtrend. So interestingly, of course, in terms of the narrative, let's look forwards and let's look at what's coming. Well, interestingly, we've got that US presidential election just over 2 weeks away now, and the reality of a contested election is perfectly plausible, and there's every reasonable expectation that that will create volatility in markets against which one should hedge. And of course, if you look at hedging in portfolios now, if you look at the skew ratio, this is a measure of deep out of the money put options bought by professional traders. They do it to hedge their portfolios when they're worried about certain key risk factors. It tends to move ahead of key events. In that sense, it's got some interesting insights into the way markets might go. If you look at skew now, as you can see, it's a very low level. So professionals are not hedged against this contested election. That's confirmed by what you see in the put to call ratio, the shorter term measure, which is showing that actually it's still on sell, just rolled over from sell levels. So market participants, professionals are not hedged to the downside. 2 weeks out, we've got this potential for this contested election. That's a bit of a risk for markets. That's the sort of thing that as hedging gets bought, you get some downside momentum complementing what we're seeing from the models and the message of the models early last week. So to see how we're playing this, please see today's Daily Rag available to subscribers via the website. So what are we watching this week? Well, the list is super long, but I would say clearly Q3 earnings out of the States is critical. We've got some of the headline tech names, the sort of second liners, but headline second liners, if you like Tesla and Netflix reporting over the course of this week. Also Intel, American Express at the back end of this week. Plenty of US companies reporting. They have the potential to reverse the trend we're expecting, the weakness we're expecting, if they continue to come out with really impressive earnings results as we've seen with some companies so far. Over and above that, there's a ton of Fed, ECB and Bank of England speakers over the course of this week. They have the ability to influence market direction, albeit we think we know largely what they're going to be saying. It's unlikely they're going to surprise anyone meaningfully over the course of this week. On top of that, housing is a theme. US housing data over the course of this week, plenty of it. NAHB Housing Market Index, starts and permits, existing new home sales and so on, as well as flash PMIs across the globe later this week, give us a first take on economic activity in October. On top of that, of course, anything on stimulus talks, anything on Brexit negotiations will be watched closely. So ton of stuff going on this week, very busy week in terms of macro and events and speeches and so on. Plenty to keep the market's focus and market's attention. So that's it from us. That's your morning market hit for Monday 19th of October. Thank you for listening. Please do subscribe on YouTube. Simply search under Shortview Trading or follow us on LinkedIn, Twitter and or Facebook. Thank you for listening. Trade well.